Just how long has it been since the NHL sent players to the Winter Olympics? Well, Stephen Harper was Prime Minister, Barack Obama was President, and John Wick was in theater. The first one, not any of the three sequels. For the first time since 2014, the NHL is headed back to the games, but what does it mean, and is there any guarantee that this time the league will stick with the Olympic program? Aside from the Russians, who are absent for obvious reasons, these Olympics will feature the best players in the world. A rookie playing in the NHL right now would barely have been out of kindergarten the last time this happened. Let's dive into how we got here. For generations, the Olympics were reserved for amateur athletes. Professionals were not welcome. As a result, many of Canada's best players never had the chance to play for the gold medal. Maurice Richard, Gordie Howe, Jean Beliveau. As soon as they cashed their first meager NHL paycheck, they were explicitly barred from the Olympics. As a result, the Soviet Union dominated the big stage, and when they lost, it was legendary. Like when the ragtag group of American college kids pulled an upset at the 1980 games in Lake Placid. You might know about it, it's called the Miracle on Ice. Canada won in 1952, but without its NHLers, it fell into a generational dry spell. For Canadian hockey fans, something needed to change. Ultimately, it was Olympic basketball that changed the trajectory of Olympic hockey. In 1992, the United States sent its biggest NBA stars to the Olympics in Barcelona. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. They formed the Dream Team, and they romped to the gold medal. Their collective star power also helped launch the NBA as a global brand, so a few years later, the NHL set out to copy that success. In 1995, the league announced it was going to the games. It would make its debut in Japan at the 1998 Nagano Olympics. Canada sent its best, but even with Wayne Gretzky on the roster, Canada famously did not win gold, or silver, or even bronze. We finished fourth. Then, our luck finally changed. In 2002, Canada won an Olympic gold medal in hockey for the first time in 50 years. Mario Lemieux, Steve Yzerman, Jerome McGinley. Salt Lake City is not known as much of a party town, but Canadians celebrated that day. Canada stumbled again 4 years later in Italy, but that just set the stage for the 2010 games in Vancouver. Sidney Crosby scored the golden goal to defeat the United States, and the nation was delirious. The Canadians won again in 2014, and then the NHLers disappeared. The NHL pulled its players from the 2018 games in Pyeongchang. Why? Money, of course. The NHL wanted the International Olympic Committee to continue covering the costs of insuring players during the games. The NHL also grumbled about having to condense its regular season schedule to accommodate the games. In addition, several key players suffered season-ending injuries during the 2014 games in Sochi, and the NHL argued the risk outweighed the reward of sending its players. The time zone didn't help either. It is hard to generate excitement at home when games are being played on the other side of the world, and so the biggest stars in the game stayed home in 2018. The league planned to return in 2022, but COVID-19 had other ideas. In July 2025, the major stakeholders all announced the NHL would be back for the 2026 games in Milan. The NHL, the Players Union, and the International Olympic Committee each spoke glowingly about the opportunity. The NHL would return to the grandest international stage. And then word began to trickle out about that stage. There were construction delays in Milan and concerns about the size and quality of the ice. NHL executives threatened to pull players out of the games yet again. The NHL is planning to be back again in 4 years. The French Alps are hosting in 2030. As the past 12 years have shown, though, there is a lot that can happen between games. The NHL stars of today might not be at the Winter Olympic Games of tomorrow.